All right, and we're back with another episode of the Slack Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I am Dr. Bob.
Now, I should say we're getting a twofer out of this shirt, which I've noticed since we don't do two episodes in a row. I'm going through shirts a lot quicker, and this is literally, I think I have 4 shirts left that I haven't worn on the show, and 2 of them are like just plain black shirts that are just boring as hell. So, I noticed you didn't change shirts between the episodes, did you?
I did.
Oh, you did? I was going to say, is that?
Yeah. I was wearing a red striped shirt last one.
I was going to say, yeah, it looked a little different, I guess, yeah. So at least you got a wardrobe change in between. I touched up my makeup a little bit, but other than that.
Yeah, no, quick bathroom break and swap shirts, and I'm back.
Yeah. So we just spent an hour talking about just about everything I had to talk about. But, let's talk about some more about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because, why would she quit? I mean, she's never been more popular. She's she's literally appealing to the other side a lot now, and half of, what's left of MAGA is definitely, she's more popular than ever. Why would she quit? It just doesn't make sense.
She thinks she can do better on her own.
Well, that's certainly not what she's saying, but that would certainly, I don't know. It would be wild is if she does just drop out and just says screw it and never touches politics again. But I don't know. I don't see her being that kind of person that would just, I don't know. But it's definitely coming out apparently now that the Epstein files are getting more and more revealed that he's definitely got a lot of connections with Israel. It's getting harder for people to say, oh no, he wasn't an asset of Mossad or anything. They're starting to, and apparently he was doing deals all over the place, like Africa and parts of Europe. There's doing like defense deals and stuff. Did you hear about any of that?
No, but I did hear somebody say something about they're trying to protect the methods and procedures or something like that. Like that's essentially what they're worried about, things being revealed, which I just take that to mean that, once everything in there is revealed, it'll just shatter any remaining illusion, anything anybody had about how the government actually works.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, only thing really left to reveal is just to say out loud what they're doing. I mean, we seem to all know what the reasons they're keeping it secret. So all they have to really do is just say so. And I mean, here's the thing. For them to say, I'm rehashing this again. We talked about this on at least the last pod or two, but for them to say that they can't release it because of some national security, that's the stupidest thing. What kind of national security? What are they keeping from us that keeps us safe? What could they possibly be keeping? That we have aliens? What is it that they could possibly, that we have the Ark of the Covenant? I mean, what is it that they could possibly be keeping secret that we don't need to know? Because, I mean, that Xi and Putin and Macron and all those guys know exactly what's in the Epstein files. They all know. They're in there. They know what's in there. So what could it possibly be that they think is a security threat other than just revealing how they do business?
Well, that's precisely what it is, how they do business.
Yeah. So what do you think will happen when they admit it? If they ever admit it?
I don't think they ever will. I don't think it'll ever be admitted. I don't think the full files will ever be released, regardless of however many times it's teased or attempted. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to say, I've got to reiterate, I think that at the bottom of the Epstein files is 9/11. I got to say it. I mean, it's just, let's look at the things that Israel has done that we know about. Oh, you know what? There was something I just heard either yesterday or today that apparently when we broke up the apartheid in South Africa, part of that deal was the fact that, and which makes a lot of sense, that the government seemed to be all concerned about our apartheid in South Africa. What they were really concerned was that they were making nuclear weapons. That's why we had to be against apartheid. So apparently they were developing nukes down there, and as part of the deal of them breaking up the apartheid is that South Africa had to give all their nukes to Israel. So we know Israel has nukes. All right, so there's that. And I forgot to even mention this. There's also apparently somebody has said that the reason that we went and struck Iran was not that that it was for any to get rid of their nuclear program. It was because that Netanyahu had threatened if we don't help him do it, that they would drop a nuke on Iran. Did you hear anything about that?
No. I was just making a note to look up the South African nuclear program because I don't know anything about it. So
well,
I want to do a little research on it.
It's not anything anymore.
Time, but
yeah, it's non-existent anymore. But yeah, apparently that's the reason we had to hit Iran, because Bibi said, if you don't do it, we're going to just drop a nuke on them. So we kind of had to keep us out of a nuclear war. And that's the biggest, I guess that's the biggest fear, is that if we actually said, look, we're just done with Israel, they're just going to start lobbing nukes all over. Which I wouldn't put past them. Look what they did with the pagers and shit like that. They don't give a shit. They don't care about anybody else.
They are devious, but again, they're also, one wouldn't consider them to be suicidal. If they had no more ties to the U.S. military that way, and to do something like that would be a pretty short-lived exercise.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Even if we cut ties with Israel, they don't have ties with Russia, but they're friendly with Russia. They talk to Russia all the time. They sold Russia some of our nuclear secrets back in the day. So it's not like they don't have a relationship with Russia. They're not funded by Russia. So if we just cut ties, that doesn't mean they'd automatically. Now, if we cut ties and they attack Iran, which is Russia's, ally, then they'd have a problem with Russia. But I don't know. I don't know what would happen if we just said, that's it, we're done. And if the election in 2028 is successful at all, that's what will happen. But you think that's what Trump is scared of? The fact that if we did just cut him off, that they'd do something crazy?
That or some insane, maybe just the revelation of how interconnected everything is, trying to hold that over the U.S.'s head. But that, again, would cripple them just as badly. So I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I think everybody that's been at least slightly paying attention knows about how intertwined everything is and how global, the whole stance of Trump being against globalization is just laughable. It's like, come on, man, you're leading the charge with Musk and Thiel and Gates. You're in there whining and dining all the people that are, the biggest major globalization guys on the planet. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what could happen. One thing for sure, man, is we gotta. Let's say we went the other way and just got completely behind Israel and said, look, whatever you want to do, let's regime change Iran. Let's say we do that. We put the Shah back in there or something ridiculous like that. How long do they think that's going to last? It's eventually, these propped up, like this guy in Syria is not, they're still at war. Saudi Arabia is kind of, they've just seemed to have turned a corner, I guess. I think they just got rid of like a lot of their old royalty family and stuff. I think somebody was telling me that they'd like secretly killed like 10,000, old royal family members or something like that. That MBS guy or something, but I don't know. That could be complete bullshit. But yeah, there's how long are these? I understand Israel wants to make all the places around it friendly. I get it, but how long are they going to stay friendly? They're not going to. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to be friendly.
No,
I mean, they're inherently opposed to each
Well,
other, again, religiously. I mean, and that just
true.
can't be understated. That's
Yeah, but the Saudis and the Israelis seem to be getting along pretty well for quite a while now, and as if in fact the Israelis talk the Saudis into doing 9/11, what do you think how would they convince them to do it? I know how they could tell them they could get away with it. Because you can go, look, you guys fly the planes into the buildings. You can blame your crazy cousin Osama. There you go. You didn't like that guy anyway. Now America's going to go tear up Afghanistan and try to kill him. So plus go fly the planes into the buildings. But what was the I don't know what would motivate him to do it in the first place, other than maybe just giving him heaps of money or something. But I got to say, for as religiously opposed as Saudis and the Israelis are, they seem to be getting along pretty well. And kind of the same.
Saudi Arabia has almost a weird get out of jail free card when it comes to other Arab nations, and no matter what they do, in the sense that Saudi Arabia is where Mecca is. I mean, that's pretty much clinches it. No one's ever going to, no other is Muslim nation is going to raise arms against Mecca, again, the motherland, the Holy Land. So
that's true. So you don't think the Shias would ever attack a Sunni country? Just because it's
not
Mecca?
That one. I mean, other ones, yes, but not Saudi Arabia.
Well, I don't know.
They're like grandfathered in.
True. But I mean, yeah, that whole area, so fucked up. And then apparently, I guess now Trump's got a peace plan. Did you hear about this? The 28-point peace plan?
28 points, and apparently some of those points are not so great for Ukraine, I heard. But
well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Ukraine's got much choice. I mean, I think if they keep fucking around, Putin's just going to take all of it. I mean, if they don't, I don't even think Putin wants all of it. I don't think he even wants all of Ukraine. I think he only wants the part that, that like him.
It really is amazing to me that it's been going on this long. I remember when the initial invasion was it like 2023, I think, or maybe even 2022.
Well,
but I was like, this isn't going to take very long. The size of these two, and then the fact that it's still lingering is amazing.
Well, I got to believe that Putin probably thought it was going to be easier. Probably underestimated the amount of resistance that we were going to help the Ukrainians provide with the technical, with the drones and we still provide them with all their artillery and all their targeting and stuff like that, which is the only reason Russia hasn't just run over the place. But yeah, I mean, eventually, here's the thing. I mean, Russia just doesn't care. They don't seem to. Like, Ukrainians are running out of people. Russia's not going to run out of people. And they don't care how many they sacrifice. Russia just, literally, they don't care. They're like, we lost 100,000 people. Big deal. We got billions more, They just don't. They'll just keep throwing guys into that meat grinder, especially since I think they basically emptied out all their prisons and insane asylums and basically put them in uniforms and marched them out into Ukraine. So
the use of drones in this war too is unprecedented and really does show what the future of warfare is going to be like.
Well, that's something.
It's like instead of the sound of artillery giving people PTSD or the sound of helicopters, it's going to be this in the future. It's going to be that buzzing sound of a drone that you heard where you couldn't see it.
And I just saw a clip making use of our drone technology defense system. Some guy was out there taking them down with a shotgun.
I've seen a lot of
skeet shooting them down with a shotgun
competition things, and
but yeah, I mean the fact that they're even
shotguns that fire like netting and stuff, like bolas that spread out and cast the net over the drone.
Yeah, but those don't have the range. Just regular bird shot is all you need. All you need to do is hit that thing with a few pellets, and it's not like they make them.
No, I'm saying I've seen a lot of those as as alternative types of ammunition. But they'll try anything.
Drone's got to be pretty close though for you to shoot a net at it. Net's not going to go very far. But anyway, But yeah, I mean, the fact that they're even sending bodies out into that battlefield anymore is really kind of amazing to me. It's almost as if they're just sending the bodies in to bait the drones. Because otherwise, what's the point of even sending people out there? They're all just going to get killed. They're going to get droned. And tanks, what good is a tank anymore? The tank's just a drone target, you know? They're slow-moving targets, you know? I don't know. Yeah, this war has definitely shown that the face of war is definitely changing. And hopefully, pretty soon, there won't be even people involved. It'll just be machinery, you know, just taking out
some of the tactics of driving like a cargo truck somewhere and then opening it and then just launching the drones out of that, you know, right. Smuggling the drones into an area. And there's people ain't prepared for that.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny because it's just starting to it seems like Russia's just starting to kind of target civilians in Ukraine a little bit. Like, look, we're done fucking around. We're going to have to start killing people. And so, I mean, I think they've been pretty good in not like attacking, you know, highly populated areas, but now they're just sending drones into like Kiev and stuff. Like, look, you know, and they're killing like 5-10 people at a time, you know, just to go like, look, we're not screwing around anymore. We're going to keep doing this until you give up. But yeah, I don't see. I mean, there's no way that Russia's getting expelled from Ukraine. So that's like off the table. That's not going to happen. So, I mean, they've got to do something. They got to do some kind of compromise or else. And it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like when Trump told Zelensky, you don't hold all the cards. You know, we don't have the cards to tell Putin what to do anymore. He's clearly in the dominant position of like, look, we're going to just keep going unless you stop, you know, unless you make some kind of agreement. We're just going to keep going. But I don't know. Well, it's kind of funny now that, you know, now that the hostages are released, I guess everybody thinks, you know, Israel and Gaza are good now, which, you know, there's still fighting going on there. There's still stuff going on. They're still like bombing Beirut and doing crazy shit like that. So it's like the fact that everybody's just moved on from there onto Ukraine is kind of like, yeah, that's not going to work out too well for you. And then now we're trying to stir stuff up with Venezuela. That just seems. Did you see where they caught the CIA guys trying to kidnap Maduro?
I saw a blurb about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a couple of weeks ago, I think, too. That's old news. But yeah, they're just trying to, and you know, look, just it's clearly about the oil. You know, look, just go in there and just tell them we'll do business. Just do a good business with them. Don't, I don't know. I mean, we don't have to. We're getting plenty of oil from Saudis. We didn't have to invade them per se. Well, I guess we kind of did. Is there any military presence still in Saudi Arabia?
I think so.
Because isn't that why Osama...
I think we have bases there.
Well, isn't that why the whole thing with Osama bin Laden, why he got so pissed off at Americans, was because the infidels were, you know, in the Holy Land and putting bases there and everything. So that's acceptable now?
I'm pretty sure we still have bases there. I mean, hell, we have a base in Cuba.
True. I don't know if that's a
communist country with a trade boycott. You're not allowed to visit there, but we have a base there.
Yeah, I don't think Cuba would. I don't think Cuba's like too keen on that per se. I'm sure they'd like him to leave if they could make him leave, but anyway, I don't know. So I guess there's more comedy clubs down here than I thought. There's a Lauderdale Improv. There's Arts Garage, which I guess is in Delray. And then there was some place up in West Palm where they were having a comedy show, but it was really strange address. Like apparently there's a comedy place over by like Flamingo Park. I forget what it was called. But I got to start hitting some of these comedy places, see if we get some some funny guests. What are you looking up?
I was looking up U.S. bases in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
The main active U.S. military base, so it's in Maine. There must be more than one. Is Prince Sultan Air Base, which is just south of Riyadh.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure they're only air bases. I don't think we have like a full blown military base, but
Right. Yeah, no, just Air Force. Supports U.S. Air Force's Central Command. Mhm. Additionally, the U.S. is constructing a new logistical hub called Logistical Support Area near the Red Sea coast to act as a major supply and logistics center. But yeah, we got one, at least one, if not more.
yeah, we've got them all over. I mean, I think we've got one in basically just about every friendly country that. Isn't there like 190 something bases all over the country, all over the world, rather?
Let's see. Damn it.
So, what would be the worst part? Well, what is going to be the worst part of us not being the world's superpower anymore?
Let's see. The U.S. has over 750 bases in at least 80
Jesus.
countries.
That's like 10 per country, but I'm sure there's a bunch in certain countries.
This is ironic. Largest concentration. Japan has the highest number of bases. Germany follows closely behind Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're going to have to leave some guys behind. Keep an eye on you.
Well, I mean, I think we actually occupied those countries, unlike, like after the first Gulf War or whatever. We didn't really occupy those. Well, I guess we occupied Iraq pretty much at some point. Although, I don't know, loose occupation at best. I mean, we certainly completely occupied Japan and Germany for sure. Well, West Germany anyway.
I've just looked up which countries do not have American military bases. Most countries in South America, Russia, India, Sri Lanka, and many in Europe like Switzerland.
Yeah, it's any world, any country that's not friendly with us and or doesn't have any kind of like, strategic value. Like, I'm not sure.
Right.
Like, I'm sure it'd be great if we had a air base in Switzerland, but they're not going to let stand for that.
We have no permanent military bases in France.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of
Apparently because France withdrew from NATO's integrated military command structure in 1966.
Really?
Yeah, it's NATO stuff, but no U.S. military bases.
So how are they? Are they still in the treaty then? So to me, that means if somebody attacks France, we don't have to do shit. They're not. They're on their own, aren't they?
Interesting. Yeah, it's hard to tell from. Let's see, post NATO arena. Okay, France rejoined NATO's military command in 2009, but maintains its preference for a fully independent military posture. I didn't realize it was that recent.
I wonder if it's got something to do with the French Foreign Legion. Like, isn't that some kind of like, I know it's French, but it's not really just French guys. It's like,
no, in fact, it's primarily not. But yeah, the French Foreign Legion is pretty insane military organization, actually. It really is like, they'll take anybody. Your background doesn't matter. Your criminal background, none of that matters. You just have to make it. If you can make it, you get a whole new identity. You have to learn how to speak French, regardless of where you come from. You don't have to, walk in knowing it, but you have to start learning it on day one and, bust your ass to do so.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy documentaries about it, but those guys are pretty hardcore.
So it's still around though.
Oh yeah, it's still a thing. Absolutely. And
So I
they're
wonder
just,
how many.
they're mercenaries.
Well, I was going to say, I wonder how many crazy, ex-mercenary Muslims that got chased out of Iraq or Iran or wherever that all went up into Europe and France. I wonder how many of those guys are in the French Foreign Legion now.
Yeah, I don't know what the screening process is regarding religion or idealism or anything like that, but if they're hard enough and can make it through the training, I'm sure some of them got through.
Well, I mean,
I don't know how well. I mean, there's a lot of it has to do with assimilating into French culture, law, and all that sort of stuff too. So I don't know if a guy like that would necessarily be cut out for the French Foreign Legion.
what, you have to assimilate into French culture to be in the French Foreign Legion?
Yeah, you have to respect like the French laws and customs and traditions, and
Oh
you have
yeah,
to
well, I
learn
mean,
to
they can
speak
act
French
like
and
they can act like they do, and at least, yeah. I mean, I don't think they're.
yeah.
But I mean, the French Foreign Legion isn't usually even in France, are they? Aren't they all like all over the world?
Well, yeah, that's true. But then again, that's true of most, like the U.S. military, aside from the ones stationed here. You are always sent out, even if they're not active duty.
So, but the way I kind of always assumed it was the French Foreign Legion is basically French mercenaries, just like a mercenary force that's just under the control of France. I didn't really think they had to agree with, French society or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think the only reason I think it's the name French Foreign Legion is because it's the only branch of the military in France that accepts people that aren't French,
Right.
except foreigners, and then make them French.
Yeah, our military takes just about anybody, doesn't they?
Yeah, standards are not what they once were, I do believe.
Now, I guess you don't even really have to be a citizen to be a soldier, do you? Because I guess they just deported some guy that was an active duty vet.
I always was under the impression that serving the military was a path to citizenship. But like that was pretty much if you were here and you could get into the military, that once you get discharged, you'd be a citizen. Like that certainly makes sense to me. I don't want to go all Starship Troopers, but if you're willing to do 4 years, I think you should be allowed to be a citizen.
And it would certainly, make people want to sign up if they're not a citizen. At least you could become a citizen after 4 years. Yeah, I would have thought for sure after serving you'd become a citizen. So you would think at the very least after serving in the services you would be at least get to take the test, right? Isn't there just a test and then you can become a citizen?
I don't know all the details. I don't know what
Well, I know there's some paperwork and there's a
quota,
test.
if there's a waiting list, or if you have to be here a certain amount of time before you can take the test, or if you have the difference between having a sponsor and not having a sponsor. There's a million factors.
I
don't really know anything about because never had to do it.
I got to say, there's a famous drummer now. He's now a citizen, but Rodrigo. But when I played with him back in like the '90s, he was actually going through trying to become a citizen back then. And he showed up at rehearsal one day with this big folder, manila folder like that. And I'm like, what's that all about? He goes, oh, it's my immigration stuff. And I said, do you mind if I take a look? And dude, some of this stuff is just so ridiculously nonsensical bullshit. Like, why would they want to know this stuff about anybody, let alone, it was just, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. And it was, that thick pack of paper of forms to fill out and stuff to read, and it was like, Jesus Christ. And and still to this day, nobody wants to end illegal immigration or illegal employment because nobody's fining the employers. It would be so easy to stop it. Oh yeah, we caught you with 2 undocumented employees. That's going to cost you $50,000. It would stop overnight. It'd be done. Like, yeah, sorry, you can't work here. You're not a citizen. You know, if they really wanted to stop it, but clearly they don't. It's all just
It's far too much money in letting it go.
yeah, and which makes this whole this whole ICE thing, it's just such a dog and pony show of like look, everybody would agree, let's get rid of, violent criminals, but that's clearly not what they're doing. That doesn't look like that's what they're doing to me. I mean, it looks like they're, taking away kids and old ladies. I don't see them. You think at least on their end it would behoove them to publicize some busts where they're busting like actual criminals and stuff, but I haven't seen anything about that. Have you?
No, not really. I mean, and certainly not in proportion to the other stories that you see. But then again, who knows what news I'm getting curated.
Hey, so you still get cable TV, right?
I have it. I rarely, if ever, use it.
I was going to say, do you ever watch that stuff, or where do you get your news from?
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, iFunny, yeah, nowhere reliable, that's for sure.
Now, when you say YouTube, is there like a specific kind of like show you watch or person or?
No, just whatever whatever recommending me. But I don't watch a lot of, the algorithm doesn't really suggest a lot of political news and stuff like that for me because I'm not that interested in it. I don't really click on it,
Right.
I get a lot of weird historical documentaries and, weird science documentaries and stuff way above my pay grade mentally, but I still find it interesting to watch and listen to, physicists talking about stuff that I really don't understand the math of it, but I like the concepts. There's a interesting German, I think she's German. Her name is Sabine like Hofstetter or something. She got like a thick German accent, and she's a physicist who talks about like news, I guess, kind of news nuggets, if you have it, about breakthroughs and technology and whether she agrees with it or, talks about AI a lot and AGI, nuclear fusion. I don't get a lot of what's actually going on. That's why so often when you ask me, did you see this? And I go, no.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that breaks through.
I get a lot of Jimmy Dore and Kurt Metzger and Ian Carroll, and I get a lot of Legion of Skanks stuff too. I guess they just did a Legion of Skanks in New Orleans. That's not news, obviously, but who else do I get news from? Oh, I was going to mention there's this guy, and I see him mostly on Facebook, but I guess he's on YouTube. But High Impact Flicks or something like that is the name of his page, and he's this guy that he's basically one of those constitutional rights kind of guys that critiques a lot of police footage, stuff like that.
Oh, like police audits or 2A audits.
Trying to think of who else. Who else do I? Oh, and what's his name? Greenwald. I watch him a lot. He's pretty good.
There's an attorney out of Michigan named Steve Leto. I watch his channel too, Leto's Law, and he usually has bizarre,
Adam Carolla
attorney stories or weird legal issues.
Right. Adam Carolla pops on the, touches on the news every once in a while, but sometimes he's just like so. I don't know. He's kind of closed-minded on certain things. I don't know. Who else is there worth watching on? Of course, Tim Dillon. That's probably
it's funny. I was just gonna say, like, a lot of the podcasts that you want me, ask me about or stuff is stuff that I actually listen to on Spotify, as opposed to watching on YouTube. And Tim Dillon would be a big one. Joe Rogan is another one. And I also, sometimes Conan O'Brien needs a friend. Got pretty good guests on sometimes. So I'll usually listen to that in the background while I'm playing Hearthstone.
I'll put on a YouTube to listen to and then watch something else on Facebook or something. Yeah.
Or certainly in the car too, like driving down or anywhere, any kind of road trip. I usually listen to a podcast.
It got on my algorithm not too long ago, as witnessed by that stupid Jim Brown comment a couple of weeks ago. But I've been getting these shows on my algorithm of the 10 things you didn't know about this movie, and I was watching one yesterday or something, and I was like, that can't be right. I forget what it was. They were saying something, and I was like, wait a minute, that just factually can't be true. I forget what it was. I don't even remember which movie they were even talking about. But I was getting really hooked on these videos, and then I was like, wait a minute, how much of this shit are they just making up?
Yeah, I get a lot of those too. Things you didn't know about the filming of this, or the filming of this was a shit show, and then it's just a bunch of over exaggerated, and it wasn't really that bad. Although sometimes it apparently was pretty bad.
Yeah, like when I just
If
watched.
if you like movie reviews, you might like a guy called the Critical Drinker. It's a Scottish guy who reviews movies, and he's pretty vicious. And he always thickens up his accent for it.
Isn't he up on the wall here?
I don't think so.
I swear I've seen that on the wall. Critical drinker. Or something about drinking. Maybe it was just something
the critical drinker, yeah.
No, I just saw a thing about Fargo, where I guess they wrote the what's her name, the chick, the pregnant chick. They wrote that into the movie because when they started the movie, she was like, "Uh-oh, I'm pregnant." So they just had to kind of go with it, and they rewrote the script to make her pregnant. Oh, and also, I guess it's funny. They tell you some of the different endings and stuff, and apparently, in the original version of Fargo, the Buscemi character was supposed to live and get away with the money, but they tested that with audiences, and apparently they didn't like it or something like that. Which is funny. Apparently they changed a lot about that movie. Because of test audiences, which I didn't know they had that much influence on a movie.
Well, I don't think they do on every movie, but maybe the Coen brothers were a little more sensitive about that. I don't know. That was a great flick, though. Whatever their final edit.
And how cool would it be to be in one of those audiences, though, to see a movie before it really, and then to see it later go, oh, this is what it turned into. Okay, I saw the first version. That'd be pretty
Kind of like
cool.
A Nielsen family member, but way more power.
Right. Do they do that anymore? They don't do Nielsen's anymore.
I don't think they do. And if they do, I can't imagine how abysmally low the numbers must be. I mean, my God.
I think they have
who still watches network television?
Yeah, I don't know. My dad.
I mean, there's so many more options. Even if you want to watch sitcoms and you just stream it from somewhere and binge the whole season. There's no reason to sit through the commercials and wait one episode at a time. And
it's funny. My dad sits there and he watches network TV, but he's like lightning fast. As soon as a commercial comes on, he hits the mute button, and then we sit there in silence while the commercials go on. And then I have to
force me to see it, but you can't force me to listen to it. Damn it!
Right. And then sometimes I have to remind him, like, hey, the show's back on.
The only time I ever turn on cable television / network TV is like if I'm in a hotel, just to have some background noise or something. I'll turn it on.
I thought you said to find a hotel. I was like, what? What did you need?
In a hotel.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fan of connecting to any kind of hotel Wi-Fi. Any public Wi-Fi like that is just too sketchy.
Even if you wanted to watch network news, you can get all that on YouTube. I mean, I see clips of network news all the time. And what's funny is after watching YouTube and seeing people that can, when you see a story on YouTube, it's usually pretty much about that one story and pretty in depth. Where once you go back and you watch network news, it's like a snippet. Like, well, all right, that didn't really tell us anything, except like the basic headlines. Not in any. And
even that snippet is usually so heavily spun.
Yeah. Propaganda. Yeah, PR.
And of course, if it bleeds, it leads. So they take the most salacious snippet they can, and that's the one they go with.
Well, I mean,
there's no time for background information. It's just whoever gets puts the news out first is more important than being right. You can always, give a retraction later, but by then it doesn't matter.
And they don't print retractions later, or if they do, it's so buried nobody ever sees it. Yeah, I mean, oh, did you see? Oh, this is funny. All right, so one of the revelations of the Epstein stuff is this chick Crockett, something Crockett, whatever. She's a senator, congresswoman, but apparently they've got emails of Epstein texting her. Literally, like real time, while she was grilling somebody for a confirmation or something. Like literally, she's asking him, like, "Who's Rona?" You know, oh, that's Trump's. Oh, it was Cohen. It was a Cohen dude. They had him up there testifying, and this chick is literally in real time emailing Epstein as to what she should ask him. This is insane. All right, and I think the same chick also put out this story that. I had my staffers look into Jeffrey Epstein and look at all these other people that have had dealings with Jeffrey Epstein, and it turns out it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. It was like a doctor that was not the Jeffrey Epstein at all. And so then they call her out on this on some news program and say, yeah, what about this? And this chick literally had the balls to say, oh no, I said a Jeffrey Epstein, not the Jeffrey Epstein. Like,
that's really not that uncommon of a name. There's a lot of guys who are really upset.
Right. But the fact that
probably going by their middle name or whatever.
There's got to
be a lot of Jeffrey Epsteins.
Oh yeah. But the fact that this lady is trying to spin it now that like, no, my staff didn't screw up. They were just looking for a Jeffrey. This was all just a ruse to make everybody get like, come on. You just screwed up. Just admit it. Just admit you screwed up. All right, yeah, you got us. We screwed up. That was the wrong Jeffrey Epstein. That's all. That's all you have to do.
Probably not that many Ted Kaczynskis, but there's definitely a lot of Jeffrey Epsteins.
Yeah, I mean, just the chutzpah of these people. I mean, like, just say, all right, yeah, you're right. We got that wrong. Why? What would be so bad if they did that? I don't know. But yeah, I think this chick's gonna. The thing is they're going to find out that Epstein had his hand in everything, literally everything and everyone. And, I don't know. And it's not like we don't know. Like basically the only thing being revealed is stuff that we already suspected. It's like the Diddy thing. Like, all right, after all was said and done with Diddy, it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I expected they were doing behind, no revelations here. That's what I figured they were doing. That's what a freak off, literally, I pictured being a freak off is what it turns out exactly what they were doing, Yeah,
he didn't call it a tea party. It's called a freak off.
Right. Yeah, it's not like, it's not like we don't know what's going on. It's just kind of slowly peeling back the layers and showing us. So what's the big deal? Just stop doing it. I don't know. And, the thing is, how do we even, like, I used to be of the mindset that, like, look, the way to fix this is everybody just stop paying taxes, stop, doing whatever the government says, just pretend they don't exist, it'll go away. But the fact is it's too late for that now. I mean, if every person in the country stopped paying taxes, they'd still make more money than God from the corporations, not to mention the fact they can just print it. So it's like, we have no way out of this. I mean, other than, I don't know. I mean, at some point, we've got to isolate the people that are saying nothing can change. And that's who's got to be eliminated. At some level, somehow. The people go, no, this is just the way it's got to be forever and ever. No, it's got to be able to. We got to be able to change stuff. Looks like it's about to start raining down here. Is it raining up by you?
No, I'm looking out the window right now. Cloudy, but no rain.
Yeah, because it looked like weather was rolling in from the north. All right. Well, I don't know. You got anything else to talk about?
No, I'm definitely tapped out.
Yeah, me too. We could make this a short one. It looks like the next people are starting to roll in anyway, so we can let them get in here. All right. Well, that's another episode down of the Slack Doctors. Give us a call. Make some comments. Tell us how much you hate the show. 904-549-9024. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff.
Yep. And
comment.
share. Yep. Thanks, guys.
I keep checking all the recently past episodes for comments, and not much. Just that one from Jess about Rodney.
Even those shorts that were getting like a lot of views.
I didn't even look on the comments of those. I'll have to remember to do that next time. All right, yeah, definitely. And you're gonna upload an episode today, I assume, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Got to get it all done, but yep.
All right, brother. All right, we'll see you next Friday. We'll see you next episode, whatever the hell day that is.
Thanks, guys.